Oh, God! Tonight is really not my night. Hey guys, we're back. It's day 20. We've got tons to do. First thing we need to do is clean up this circuit board so we can get it cut along with all the others. And then once we've got all of our circuit board cut for the Chameleon, we're going to go to the studio, do a ton of welding. But I really haven't got much time today as our last full day to work on the piece. So I need to get going with this and then get cutting as quickly as possible because we need as much time in the studio as we can get. These guys weren't coming off. I want to use this side as the display side. So this means I need to remove all this stuff using the angle grinder, the Dremel, and then sand it down flat so that we have one flat surface. I'm gonna have to basically surface each piece. But right now, it's time to lock in. So let's get going. Okay, we've done a load of that. Got to cut out the hexagons. I'm thinking doing 20 to 30 of each shape. So that's a lot. We've got 4 different sizes, which gives us about 120 to cut if we go with 30. So it might end up being 20 based on that exclusively. But yeah, I haven't got much time to talk about it, so let's just start doing it. Okay, so we've made a change. Basically, the blue tack kept on getting really dusty and then falling off, which was just slowing me down. So instead, I've actually traced out all of the ones that I need to cut out onto the circuit board directly. So now we're just gonna cut all of those out and then get to sanding down. Okay, so we've got all of them cut out now, but what we need to do is actually sand them down because currently they're not in like actually a perfect hexagonal shape, so I need to sand them down so that they're all exactly the same size and fit really well. I think we've cut out 80, so we've got 20 of each of the sizes, like a couple extra or less here or there depending. But I'm liking how they look. I just want to see what they look like on the Chameleon. I think I've probably made a lot more than I need, but it's better to have spares than get there and decide, oh, I haven't got anywhere near enough. That would be pretty terrible. So that's what we're going to do next, and then we can get to the studio. I've also made a pretty awful mess. There is just so much of this dust. This is why I couldn't do it in my studio, because I'd be breathing this stuff in for the rest of my life basically. But these are the sort of circuit board cutouts, so I'll still probably use these in other projects. I try to leave some space, but that's everything that we are going to use in terms of circuit board now. I tell you what, this is taking a lot longer than I was hoping it was going to. I've done all of the biggest size. I've got 6 left to do of the medium size, but then I've got 40 left of the little ones. The smaller they are, the quicker they should go, because there's like less to sand off. But my belt sander and the sort of disc and the disc sanding bit and the disc and my belt sander and the disc on it, they both worn down way quicker than I thought they were going to, and I obviously don't have any replacements, so it's just taking longer to sand than it should. But I can't really afford to take a break, because we still got to get to the studio and do a ton of welding there, build the tail, build the feet, weld everything on, because realistically tomorrow I don't actually have a proper full day, and it's the final day, so I really want to get everything attached before then at least, and just be doing decorating. But it's about 6 o'clock now, so I mean we've got 8 hours until midnight, which gives us quite a lot of time. No, we don't. It's 6 o'clock now, so it's 6 o'clock now. I don't really want to be working much past 2 o'clock in the morning, so that leaves us with 6 hours. So, lots to do. Right, it's getting way too dark to actually see anything, and I've done all of them apart from the 6 big ones. What I do need to really quickly do is chop the ends off these eyeballs and then go to the studio, and I just need to do that while we have a little bit of light left, because it is going quick. Okay, we are, so I'm off to the studio now. It's a lot later than I was hoping it was going to be, but what can you do? Big job done today, so it's really good to have that sort of out of the way. And now everything can be done inside the studio, so it's good to just, you know, lock in and stay there. I'm gonna stop off at the shops, grab some snacks, because I'm not getting through tonight without copious amounts of sugar, mainly more than anything. But I'll see you guys there in a second. Right, we're at the studio. I've just finished having dinner and I can't procrastinate any longer, so it's time to actually do some building. The thing that I think I want to do first is adding feet and hands onto all of these limbs. That way there's nothing left to do on the limbs, and then that will mean that I'll be able to actually weld them onto the body, which is obviously a pretty important step in terms of making it look like a chameleon. The other big task that we have is the tail. I don't know how well you can see this wire on the video, but that is kind of mapping out the tail that we're going to have. So lots and lots to do, but first things first is, yeah, figuring out those feet. I think in terms of what I want to do tonight is make sure I've got, yeah, all those feet, all those hands, and the tail finished really. I shouldn't leave until the tail is actually done. And then tomorrow will be like the final assembly day. I have those welding electrodes arriving in the morning at in the afternoon, so that will make it a lot easier to do the actual welding to the body, because I'm not going to be able to do that through the microscope. So having the really short electrodes that I'm using at the moment, I think will actually be quite difficult to do. And yeah, if I can just get that done, then I can just spend the whole day assembling, and that should hopefully go reasonably quickly. Anyway, I'm talking about it way too much as it is, so let's just start doing it. Okay, so I just did a load of talking and then realized that the mic wasn't on, so it was just me silently yapping away. Basically, I've got a pretty good idea for how I'm going to do the hands, the claws. The only problem is it's built around parts like this, which I've been pulling off the circuit boards. I'll show you properly in a second, but you can't bend them. Basically, they snap rather than giving a nice bend to them, and they're also not weldable, which does make it difficult. It means that the angles are going to be very sharp on all the sort of fingers and toes, which isn't really what I was hoping for. I wanted to get like a nice natural curve going a little bit. So I'm gonna let that marinate in my head, have a little think, and in the meantime work on the tail. I've got this, which is the smallest of our little like circle sections we were making the other night, and I'm gonna weld that to about here. That's probably the widest I want it to be at that point. Anything past there, it needs to get thinner so that we can really get that good curve going. So I'm gonna get that welded on, have a think about the hands and feet in the back of my head, and maybe incredible inspiration strikes, who knows, but let's get welding. I think we're gonna be plagued by some of the same issues where it's just really difficult to get good angles on this, but you never know, so maybe it'll be way easier than every other stage of this build. We've got one weld in place, which means it's time to go check it with the rest of the piece and just make sure that's actually how I want it to be. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm just gonna get it on a bit more securely. Oh God, hot. Yep, that was pretty hideously hot. First burn of the night. Okay. I need to not touch that area because it is going to be hideously hot. In fact, this whole wire is pretty warm. Now that we've got these sections, I think I actually want to start joining them up a little bit. So that's just the perfect length, which makes me think I should just go for it. Okay, I am going to just go for it. And once I find this. Now that we've got that in place, we should probably just get another one. Yeah, it's still very fragile. Tell you what, I cannot wait for these extra electrodes to arrive tomorrow. They are getting pretty desperately needed. Ooh, just electrocuted myself there. I think let's up the energy here. Just absolutely cannot seem to get this one to weld. I feel like you guys hear me say that quite a lot. No, okay. Right, can't get that to weld the way I want it to, but oh well. Oh God, I don't know what I'm doing, but I am getting electrocuted quite a lot today. Let's try this. I think I made it a tiny bit too short.
In fact, I definitely have made it a tiny bit too short. That's so irritating. Literally like a millimeter. I'm sure maybe it will probably be useful. Oh yeah, in fact. Right, it will work for this one, so. Oh, God! Oh, that was a bad ban. Ow. I'll tell you what though, it does wake you up a little bit, so some benefits, swings and roundabouts of that. I think that'll, oh. Okay, so I burnt myself for nothing officially. That is so frustrating. At least if I burnt myself to like get the weld in place, it kind of makes it feel a little bit worth it, but literally zero good comes of it. I can't help but be a bit upset. This tail is, as expected, really annoying to work with. It's just really hard to get the right bends to it, a really natural feel to all the different parts, things like that. I don't want it to look really unnatural and structured. Hopefully, third time lucky. Ta-da! Alright, we're finally getting a bit of strength through here. Oh, God! Tonight is really not my night. Jesus. Right, I'm gonna go check this. Right, what are the odds that I burn myself again? Some would say high. I would tend to agree. That's not the right length. It's not quite as long as I'd like it. But... ta-da! Obviously this is super patchwork at the moment. It will get more filled in. I'll cover it with circuit board probably. I think there's gonna be quite a lot of circuit board going on this one. And then like various wires and things like that crisscrossing, but that's the idea. Just need to keep fleshing it out. So I think a very difficult section to do is gonna be this loop the loop. I'm gonna start off with washers, I think, weld some very little ones around here. And then obviously we've got to get out to about this size, but I want it to get thinner quite quickly. Another difficult bit is here at the top. I was planning on having a piece like that, but it doesn't really work. They were shooting down at the size. So I think what I'm gonna need to use is something that's a bit bigger, like this. At least it comes out more. Maybe have that welded like that. Difficulty of this being that this is non-weldable, as seemingly 50% of this piece is. In fact, yeah, it probably is actually 50%. That's non-weldable on both sides, non-weldable. The entire middle section is non-weldable. The core of all of the legs, all of the sheet metal on the head, the eye sockets. Why did I do that? Why did I choose that? Seems like a bad call when you weld things. But it is what it is. Oh yeah, so these are our kind of ideas for hands. They're basically made up of these parts. They're just laid out. They would look a bit better than that, but it's that kind of thing. It's not really the fluid hands that I was looking for, but I think it's probably going to have to do. Anyway, I'm gonna keep working on the tail and I'll show you guys what it's looking like now. So something very bad just happened. Continuing my luck today, I just finished welding an extra circle on in. It was great. I then picked up the piece, burnt myself, and reflexively just threw it on the ground. And it's broken. So it could be worse. We do have some parts that have stayed in one piece, but the one that I just added on completely smashed to pieces, which is really unfortunate. Just a well, what a waste, really. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm just really happy that the others didn't break, but I'm going to try and get that added in. And try not to burn myself, because that's really stupid and really annoying, especially when it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'd quite like to go home as it is. Such a stupid waste. This is obviously part of the problem of using delicate things. You just do run the risk of stuff like this happening. Okay, I'm going to try and repair this. So what I've done is I've got this piece. I've sort of spaced these out a little bit. Same on here. These are the points that broke off, and I'm going to use those to try and pin a new one in its place. So first we've got to re-glue this on, and also at this end, which will essentially should keep the whole piece pinned back in place. Oh, that's quite a lot of super glue on my fingers. That's not great. Now what I'm going to do to make this actually strong enough is I'm now going to weld those 2 points together. If I haven't absolutely coated the thing in super glue, which it kind of looks like I have. I hate this. So what I've done is I've super glued my thumb. Oh, also super gluing these fingers. So I've super glued my thumb directly to my thumbnail, which leaves your whole hand feeling very, very strange. Also, my hands could do with a clean. Let's go fix this up a bit better. All right, now that I've actually removed those 2 sides, hopefully I should be able to slot this back in. And then what I'm going to need to do is actually take these 2 and sort of close them again once I've got some glue in there. I think I've got some little shards of, yeah, I can see them now in my hand. Little shards of glass from when this smashed. And I've what I've done is, I don't know if you can see the little bits that are sparkling. Yeah, they've gone and gotten like pushed into the skin. So I've just got a few tiny little cuts. So actually, I think I'm going to stop this for a second and go wash my hands, try and get some of that off, and then we will pick this back up. Right, well, that was the best I could do. A lot of that doesn't actually want to come off because it's basically being super glued on. But right there, if you can see, that was where I burnt myself, basically. That slightly red bit that meant, well, I smashed all of this. Oh, God. Oh, man, that's... I have snapped that a little bit. If you close up that gap, though, it's invisible. Oh, there's another one up there I've just seen. Oh. Come on. I just, at this point, do not have time for this. Not ideal, but not the worst repair job I've ever done. I'll have to do something else here just to strengthen that bit. I think what I'll do is I'll put a washer on each side. That way it will act as a like join between the 2 parts. This is good because, well, it will keep it nice and strong, keep those halves from separating. And also it just adds a bit of an interesting piece to these very plain sections on the inside. Can I actually get it on without destroying it? Okay, so that pins it from one side, and we'll do one more just for good measure. Why not? This is the thing about like creating something new. There's not really a rule book on how to do it. Things are going to go wrong all the time. It's just about figuring out what's a way that I can actually go about and fix this. So now that is nice and strong. We just need to get a bit more welding to really secure it and make sure that I don't drop this again, because I would be quite upset. I really want to get this tail looking more finalized in the near future, because I really want to go home and go to bed. Ooh. Just a nice little electric shock, because I hadn't connected it to the right part. I think a spark just went right down the back of my top, because there is a burning sensation on the back of my neck, which is not great. But hey, so long as I don't drop this stupid thing, I'm happy. Right. Note to self, do not touch that. It's going to be really, really hot. Let's just add in one more. There's a little thin guy. I just want a really small section of a nail to add in. This is a bit too long. Aha, here we go, that'll work nicely. No, it won't. It's way thicker than I thought. Why did I think that was thin? This piece, I think, if I could hold on to it for longer than a second. Ooh, because I had obviously just glued that bit. Welding it then, basically, has made some of the fumes evaporate, which is not very nice up the nose, and it's definitely not very nice in the eyes. So I'm just gonna hang back a little bit, but we've repaired the damage that I did earlier, so that's good at least. I think I should start working on thinner sections now, and sort of build it up to meet in the middle. I reckon by the time we get to here, we want it to be about this thick. Maybe I should just put that in now. Yeah, go on, screw it. Oh, not connected to anything again, of course. Ow! God! Okay, I don't know what's going on with that piece, but it doesn't want to weld on, so I guess we won't use it. We probably wanted about that thin there. Yeah, I don't think we would want to go any thinner than that. I'm gonna put the electrode on here because this piece is really bendy and fragile and thin and kind of can't support its own weight properly. It's actually quite annoying to try and hold in place and weld. God. Oh, it's just not my night. I've been putting off this tail because I thought it would be irritating, and it is. Let's think. We want to get it to something about this wide here, I think. What do I have that is going to be like that? I need to go through my washers and find something. Here we have lovely washers, and there's got to be something that is the nice perfect size, and also hopefully not too heavy. Let's try and quickly get this welded in place so that we can use it as a guide for everything else, if I can manage it. So far I can't. Oh God, that wire gets so hot. Oh, why does this not want to weld? God. Okay. This is a bit bigger but quite a lot heavier. And because it's really unsupported down at this end, I don't want to go too heavy at this point. Let's see if I can weld this at all. Maybe it's just the metal's not weldable and I'm being really dumb. No, it's very weldable. It's fine, in fact. So let's try that one more time. It's still really hot here. Oh God. Ow. That was an electrocution, not a burn. Seems to be happening quite a lot tonight with this tail, which I love. It's also not amazing to know how fragile these are, and I've just realised something really stupid. So normally, of course, the ones that I was using had wire strengthening through them. This one doesn't. Where did that piece go? When I dropped it, it must have smashed off somewhere, but I can't see it anywhere. Or maybe it didn't. That was stupid in itself. Just means that that one's weaker than all of the others, which is obviously already true considering the brake that we've got running through it. I wonder what the best way to keep this strong is. Right, I think first things first, we're going to get this joined up to here. I think the good thing about me making all these mistakes is that hopefully you guys now see that actually literally anyone can do this, and I barely know what I'm doing. So what's happening here is the electrode's not sharp enough really. I'm going to try just whacking up the power and seeing if that will power through. Yeah, that hasn't worked, so I'm going to need to sharpen the electrode before I just end up doing something really stupid. I seem to have misplaced an electrode, which is, I mean, could you get any worse than that? I was already worrying about running out, and now, oh, hoo-hoo. just spotted it. Okay, that means we don't have to sharpen another one for a second at least. I can just use this one, slot that in. These electrodes don't arrive tomorrow. I genuinely don't know what I'll do. I'll be in big trouble. Whew, that is a hot crocodile clip. A bit stronger through there, that's good. Now, I really need to get some more structure in the lower half. What is the biggest washer that we have? So I think that would be good for about there. I'm just gonna, do you know what I might do? I think I'm gonna make a tiny little notch in it where that wire will be able to slot a lot easier. That should really help with the welding. I've ended up with these really thin Dremel blades, which are quite weird. I'm not used to those. And to be totally honest, I don't really trust them. So I'm gonna grab one of the used thicker ones that I had. Right, let's see, is that wide enough? For the wire, I went a little bit deeper than I would have liked ideally. Oh, it's not quite wide enough. Okay. I think that should have done it. Now begs the question, whereabouts do we want that to go in terms of maintaining a normal taper to the width? I think maybe there. I think that might work. Either way, I'm just gonna do it. There's definitely a point in the build where you just need to make decisions and then live with your choices afterwards. And that has almost worked out pretty well. Just need to bend it up a tiny bit. Yeah, okay, I think that's good. It gets narrower, maybe a little bit sharper than it should, but I think if we bend this part of the tail up, that will be, yeah, so now that will be a bit less noticeable. Oh, my hands are tired, I'm shaking. Okay, good. So we've got that in place there. Now let's just join it up to something. How long is this gonna need to be? Something like this, I think. I reckon I've, yeah, got that wrong. How did I do that? God. Okay, let's try that again with one that's a bit longer. Probably just find out that I've got it wrong again. I've really, I've bungled this a little bit, I think is the best way to put it. Okay, we're just gonna go for it. Let's get this added on quickly. We just lost a big chunk of electrode doing that. It's really irritating, but I think the angle's reasonably good, so. Ow, hot. I don't know what it is about this that is meaning I get burnt so much more than like the entire rest of the piece, but whatever it is, it's not good. I'm also losing so much electrode, actually ridiculous. Normally it only gets really hot when you're using quite high energy. That's also usually when you start to lose more electrode than you bargained for, but that's not actually something I'm doing in this scenario, so I'm not totally sure why it's being so unhappy, but there we go, it's getting thinner and thinner, which is good, I suppose. It still looks pretty ramshackle though, so lots more that I need to do. Okie dokie. Right, I'm gonna get another section going here. I think I might try and go all the way along to here. So start off. Okay. That curve is really annoying. It just gets in the way a lot. Oh, that was trying to break something. That's definitely the angle that we want. So see, can we get this welded? Please, please, please. Oh my God, why is this so hard? Okay. Oh, that's supposedly welded. It's definitely not, but it's stuck. Ow! Yep, that's the hot bit. I need to sharpen these electrodes. That's what I'm putting off, but it should help me out in the long run. So it's 3:30 a.m. I said that I wasn't going to stay past 3, but time got away from me. So we've done quite a lot on the tail. I'm going to call it a night now, but I'll show you what we've got. So we've got a pretty good section going there. I think it'll be a lot quicker tomorrow with the fresh electrodes. I think tomorrow with fresh electrodes we should be able to make progress quicker. I'll have 15 of them and they'll all be sharp, and it should just be a lot easier, a lot quicker, but obviously there is still a lot to do. Didn't get as far as I wanted to today, so tomorrow is just going to have to be one of those hideous days where I won't be cooling it at night until it's done, because it's due on Wednesday. So tomorrow is officially the final day. It needs to be at the Science Museum at about 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. So I really do not have much time, but I'm going to call it a night. I hope you guys are enjoying the tension, the stress. Will I get it done? What will it look like by the time it needs to go in? I'm definitely not. So hopefully at least one person is, but I'll see you guys. Bye.